Hello and welcome back to Badger Outdoors. Another camp, another rucksack, some homemade firelighters, and hopefully some better cooking than last time. This is a new woods to me. I've camped quite a lot over in the woods over that way. These are all very new to me. I came down here last weekend with a drone, and I flew the drone over the top from the car because it's quite a hike all the way around. And it looks pretty good. I reckon there's one, maybe two sites that are worth an overnight camp. There are basically some pine trees through there. Now I can take the long way around, which is about a 20-minute hike, or I can take a bearing, and I know from here the bearing is about 315, probably from about here is probably about 320. I could take a bearing and hike through, so I might do if I can find, if it looks like it's viable. But to be honest, my purpose for taking the route round is just to avoid too many people, but there's just no one out at the moment, so I'm not really that fussed. It's about 400 meters through there is where I want to get to, from what I worked out from the drone footage. I could just cut through there. I think I will. Last time I came here, while I did take the drone out to go and do a recce of most of the area, I did try to hike through here, but I tried to hike in too much further down where it's very boggy. There are two streams, which I noticed from the mapping afterwards, so that was a bit of a nightmare, and I got quite a long way in and actually got lost. Couldn't make my way, couldn't work out which direction to get out. Luckily I had my phone on me. I could see where I was. I'm like, right, okay, I know where the sun is. I know if I head that way I'll get out. But it's quite big and it's quite boggy and it's very dense in here. This part of the forest really does just get left alone. So I don't think anyone really cares if I come in here and explore it. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, new rucksack, which I'll show you. The old rucksack. The old rucksack, only used it once. That Pro Force. This is quite boggy. Whoa! Okay, that's a bog. Yeah, let's try down there. So we can cross over down here. Easy. The deal with it, that rucksack I had on the last video, Pro Force 66, met everything that I was after, and I really liked it. Loved the material, well built, really nice. But you probably saw from my last video, those pockets were just awful. I couldn't get on with them. Got home, thought, yeah, I jumped into that too quickly. I bought it second hand for 60 quid, down from 100. It is now my get your home bag, which stays in my car. In the car I always keep 72 hours worth of car camping, water, food, warmth. I can light a fire and everything else in the car. I've always done it for a couple of reasons. I got caught out once, or in fact twice, out in the snow. But I also keep a get your home bag, so I can just chuck a bag on my back even in the winter, and I know it's got all the right gear that I need to mean that I can walk home. You know, I can walk for 3 days if I need to. Why do I do it? I don't know. I guess I'm a bit of a prepper. But it's basically full of all my old wild camping stuff. So wild camping gear, you know, as I buy some new stuff and upgrade, the old stuff, which I know how to use it, goes into my get your home bag in the car, and that's where it retires. And that's where that bag has gone now. And the bag I used to have is now empty and sits in the back of the car, so the missus has got a bag so she can carry her credit cards out. I mean, you know what I mean. Right. Okay, this may take me a little bit longer than I was thinking, but yeah. This is becoming quite tricky. So easy to lose your bearings in here. So I could swear I was heading in the right direction over there. So I got the compass out. Right, nah, that's definitely going the wrong way. So it needs to be more this way. And now I can see the fir trees down there. So I know if I can get to them, I'm pretty close. Yeah, so Turns out I should have walked around after all. I'd be there by now. It looks so much easier on the drone. But and this is why you need a rucksack that is not a very expensive Osprey or anything like that. That's why I stopped using. I do have an Osprey, not that I follow brands or anything like that. It's got to look in my wardrobe or on my drive to figure that one out. But yeah, I wouldn't bring a fancy rucksack into here. This thing's been bashed and crashed quite a lot already. I'm a little bit stuck. It's pretty thick. It's just thicket and no easy way through. And the way back is 20 minutes of walking, and then probably another 15 minutes of hiking around the trail to get there. And it's just there through those pine. I thought the pine would just be pine on their own. They've got firs growing inside them. So it is just thick. Back where I started 20 minutes ago, and 1 kilogram lighter. My rucksack is not getting lighter though. Right, that's twice I've tried to get through there. Oh, now I'm knackered. So I just came around the top there. This is the final little bit of pathway, and I thought I'd just take another shortcut. Bloody hell, I ended up almost back where I was just now, the last time I was lost. Anyway, the drone lied. That isn't, it's okay, I can camp there, but I haven't put all this effort in to camp there. And I go down a little bit further and have a look. It's tempting just to drop off my rucksack and head down, because it's all downhill. But now I'm getting tired. I thought that site would be a lot better than it was, but it's not very good. Bog. Yeah, that's why it's good to do a recce yourself and not trust your little drone. Nah, the drone lied. The second spot's useless as well. It's far too steep. And it's a hell of a climb back up again. I've been going for an hour and a half now walking. I'm not sure I'm going to find anywhere that is worth an hour and a half of knackeringness through the woods. Right, well, I finally found somewhere to camp for the night. The temperatures come right down. So basically a completely failed attempt to get through that forest twice now. Twice got lost, had to get the compass out and take a bearing and just head off that way. But it's so overgrown that you just can't get around it. It was actually a little bloody nightmare. Anyway, the site that I was going for was no good. So I walked all the way down the hill with my rucksack on to the next site. Then really boggy, absolutely really tough going, and that wasn't suitable, just far too boggy. There's one spot and I just thought I can't be bothered with that, and so I just sweated myself back up the hill, absolutely soaking wet, and now of course I'm freezing because the wind's coming in, so I've screwed myself over a little bit. So I'm now just up off the main track, and I can see the track goes from just over there all the way across to there. Closest point I'm probably 40-50 meters from there. I'm quite exposed up here, but if I have my hammock swung quite low, I should be okay, and keep the fire low. Because they're just down over the hill, I don't think they'll be able to see up. So this is the site I'm going to go for. I'm not convinced, I'll be quite honest. I was hoping for something a little bit better, but shit happens, and you have to deal with it. This goes to show a drone really is no good for recce, nothing like doing it yourself. So yeah, I think I'm going to crack open a beer now, if I'm really honest. What I'll do though, I'll show you this rucksack, which is a Hardington. I think it's called Hardington. Let me have a look. No, Mardington. Mardington? Yeah, I'll show you. Mardington, it's a 60 litre, and I reckon this is the one. Okay, here it is. Yeah, Mardington. It's made in China, and I'm really impressed with it. The material is not as tough as the, or it feels thinner than things like the Highlander rucksacks, but it feels tough enough. You know, it's been through a hell of a lot of scrub just now. The zips are absolutely lovely. They've got a little toggle on there. They run really smoothly compared to that Pro 466. absolutely much better. Right, I'll give a quick circuit of it. Okay, if I start at the back, it doesn't have as much padding as that last one, the Pro 466, so not as much padding, but I've just been wearing it for quite a while and it's absolutely fine, you know, for the distances that you're going to walk when you're doing wild camping. I think it's absolutely fine, and in fact the other one was really bulky padding, and so actually when you laid it down, we laid it down on this side, it didn't lay down flat, whereas this one here, these flaps just come all the way in, no problem, everything tucks in quite nicely, and you can put your little chest strap on there just to hold it all in, and yes, it doesn't protrude too much. You've got a normal grab handle here, and the lid itself is not attached, so if I just undo the lid is separate, it's not stitched on, it's just held on with straps. The stitching looks pretty good. I've been all inside the rucksack and stitching looks very good. In fact, there's a few survival tips on here, how to do a compass using your watch, which is quite a handy little trick. Okay, and right, let's start on the lid. So the lid has got some mole webbing. I put my own bit of elastic on the top just so I can stuff stuff under there. I quite like that. The lid itself, it opens a really wide, so a nice big lid on there, unlike most, which is just a zip here and that's it in. This the whole thing opens up, which I find quite nice. But the rain cover is inside there. I don't particularly like the rain cover in here. I'd rather the rain cover was at the bottom of the bag in its own little zipped compartment, but there we go. It just takes up space and I don't particularly like that concept, but I prefer the lid on this side, so on the where your back goes, where your neck is, than on the front side, because when you get somewhere and you put this up against the tree, this compartment here, the main compartment, gets emptied with your all your gear, etc., and then this lid drops down, and so if you have a zip at the front here, everything falls out if you forget to zip it up. So I find the zip at the back here around your neck much better. So yeah, a reasonable size lid. It's got the usual 2 pull cords in here at the top, and then it is, let's see if I can get this in the shot, there we go. And then we've got 2 compartments, which I really like having 2 compartments. I personally, so a lot of people put their sleeping bag down here. I personally don't, because a lot of sleeping bags have the connection between these 2 as just a pull cord. So if you've got anything wet up here, it's just going to run down and then get down into that bottom compartment. So personally, I like this compartment's my dry compartment at the top end, and then the split for the bottom is cook pots, tarps, anything like that just goes into there. That's just a habit that I've got into. The divider between these 2 is not a pull cord, it's actually a zip, which is great because it means if you drop something in here, it doesn't end up down in the bottom compartment. So you can see then you've got the mole webbing on the front here, and you've also got a pocket on the front. It's not a particularly big pocket, but you can fit a few things into there, including my new firelighters. These, not these, I made my own version of those, which I'll show you later. And then on the sides, I've got this thing's sinking. I've got another pocket here, which is pretty big, beautifully fits my silky gomboy, and my knife fit nicely in there, as well as a beer. And then down at the bottom I've got you've got another pocket, but you know, an elasticated pocket, which is great. So this is a 1.1 litre bottle that slides in there very nicely, and they've got a strap just to go around the neck, so that there's no way that's coming out. So I really like this, the fact that I've got these 2 pockets, one at the top here to put stuff, and then the one down there to put the bottle. Same obviously on this side here, got another bottle and another pocket. And then right onto the bottom down here, you've got a couple of straps just for holding, as I did with this chair. The chair just went into there, or you can put some, obviously some more webbing down on there, but I like having these straps here down at the bottom just to put that extra bit of gear. So yeah, that's the rucksack. I've had a really good look over it, and everything seems as solid as a rock. Really good stitching. It just looks really good quality, and it cost me 65 down from £85, so I got a little bit of money off it. So I'm really chuffed. I think this is going to be my main rucksack. The rucksacks that I really use, I have a big Bergen for the winter and for a really heavy camp when I'm taking my cast iron skillet, etc. That's my Bergen, but a Bergen is a Bergen. There's no nice little compartments on it or anything like that. It's just a load carrier. And then I've got my 44 litres, which I think is really good, lightweight, wild camping capacity. And there's always been this sort of gap in the middle where I didn't, you know, the little one was too little, the big one was too big. And I think this is just right. 60 litres, 60 to 65 litres, I think is perfect for wild camping in the UK for the most of the year, and in the winter go for some a bit bigger like a Bergen. But yeah, really chuffed with it. It's too windy. The wind was coming right up the valley and just hitting me beautifully, and it's going to go down to 0 tonight. And yeah, don't want to do the wind, so it's not going very well at the moment. It's all been a bit of a bloody mess. I'm going to end up back in the car at this rate. To be honest, I'm also concerned about the car. It's just parked up on the main road, and it just looks, it's going to attract attention. What's that car doing there at 2 or 3 in the morning on its own? Plan C now. Right, I'm in a completely different location now. The last place was just too windy. So I do my wild camping checks, which are, is it private, are the fences there, are the private signs, are the fences, does it look like it's part of someone's property, is there any wildlife there, and is it part of someone's, clearly part of someone's, you know, business, which you don't want to disrupt. And I suppose finally, yeah, you don't want to disrupt people who are just enjoying that area as well, don't want to spoil it for them. So I do those checks, but then there are some other checks which I do for the actual site itself. Water and wood, you know, wood that you can actually use if you need to do a fire. Water, if you need water, is there a water source? But the 4 W's that I definitely don't want are widowmakers, wind, wigglies, stroke wildlife, and walkers. So here is not great because there is a possibility of some walkers. So I'm just going to play it as late as possible. I'm going to get my wood sorted out first and make sure that is stacked, and then putting the hammock up is a simple thing. Then I'm pretty much ready to go, really. But the last place was loads of wind, and it turned out there were walkers then started coming down, and the dogs were running up to where I was, so wasn't worth the risk, wasn't worth the hassle. So the walker thing, I've still got that bit of an issue, but there's no wind. It's a much nicer little environment. Yeah, it feels better. The last place just didn't feel right. So here we go. Yeah, right. So I need to get some wood now and do that very discreetly so I don't trigger anyone. Yeah, this is definitely a stealthy camp, is now required. So whenever I'm doing the wood, I'm not snapping anything, I'm just sawing almost everything now. Yeah, so sunset is in half an hour. So in half an hour I can get a load of wood stacked up there that looks discreet. You know, it's a pile of wood which I can walk away from at any time. There is tons of wood around here. The trouble is a lot of it is pine, and that spits like bugger, so great to get the fire going, but I need to go and try and find a little bit of hardwood as well. So I'm probably going to leave the kit here and just go and venture out a little bit and see if I can get any hardwood sorted. But what I don't want to do is have my hammock broadside on to that track over there, because in the morning if anyone walks down there, they're going, did I nearly cut my hand off it? They're gonna see me. So whatever I do, I really want my hammock to be lined up like this so I'm less obvious. But I will think about that while I get some more wood sorted. I reckon that'll be enough. Nearly rumbled. A couple just walked down here, luckily without a dog. I just finished sawing and was just stacking it, so I don't think they heard anything. And actually when you're out there and you look in, it looks quite dark in this little section here, so I think I'm quite well hidden. Right, the plan now is just stack the wood, get that ready, and I've got about another 20 minutes just to sit around really. I'm just going to sit down there and enjoy the view, have a beer, and then 15 minutes after sunset, so 15 minutes before it gets really dark, is when I will start setting up a hammock, head torch on just beforehand. And then for the fire, I've just got one of those little oven trays, small version of that. I've got a windbreak that will go around it, it's nice and high, so the flame can't be seen. I just want to keep this fire quite small so it's not too obvious, and anyone is around at night and anyone does turn up first thing in the morning, that it looks like I've been, well, because I will have been sensible with what I'm doing. So right, beer o'clock, finish stacking that and then beer. Right then, so this is for the fire for the night. So it's just one of those tins, worked out the stone so it holds fairly steady, and I reckon that'll do me. All the wood I've got stacked here now, so I think we're all pretty squared away. There's my setup. All my beer's ready on that little table, amazing little table. Got my hammock all set up. Not going to bother putting the tarp out, and I think this will do. The wind is coming in from this direction, so I think this will be absolutely fine. Just keep the wind off me. Absolutely fine. If the wind was coming in from the top end, then that can be a little issue, which I've had before. Right then, we are a beacon to everyone at the moment, but there we go. So these are the and all they are cotton wool discs that I stole off the missus, and then I dip them in barbecue lighting fluid, let them soak, take them out, then dip them in melted wax, take them out, put them onto tin foil, and they're blooming brilliant. I bought some of these, so the tin that they're in are some that I bought. I did a little test against them, and the ones that I bought from the Inferno fire discs, those lasted 4 minutes, but they started much slower, whereas these last 3 minutes and they get really intense very quickly, and then at about 2 minutes they're about the same, and then these start dropping down and the other ones just maintain. So they're just different, they're just a bit more intense at the start, the ones that I made. Another way of making them is to mix 50% wax, 50% barbecue fire starter, mix that up, and 2 candles got me 24 discs. So they've been fairly good actually. It's not bad, and I think if you bought these, because these were quite a lot of money, it's about £8, £7 or £8 for this tin. I just got the tin just to test them out. So they're about 80p each, whereas if you make them, they're about somewhere between 5 and 8p each. So definitely worth making your own, and they are very good, which I will show you now. I think we'll try 2 of them. Okay. And then you just tear them apart, get as many of those fibres out as you can. There we go. Get your buddy, help your buddy out. There we go. Okay.
Price to gold ratio to show you where we are in terms of gold. So the spike there in 2002-03, that meant that house prices were heavily overvalued.
Okay, well, food tonight is going to be some ravioli with a pasta sauce. There's more water. And when I first started wild camping, all I ever used was 750mm pots, titanium, and I don't touch titanium now. Great for ultralight and bike packing. I think it's good. I would take that. And if all you're going to do is boil water, then fine. But steel is real, so that's what I tend to get now. And I've really been cooking with frying pans and grates and things like that. But I thought it was about time that I actually started cooking something in a pot. So I found this it's from MSR. The handle folds over through the lid handle, and then there's a clamp on the end here, so you can clamp the whole thing down so nothing rattles around. And that is great because you can put all your cook stuff in there. You can slide your lid onto there, put it over, lid goes on, that goes down, handle goes over, clamped. Nothing rattling. All your cook stuff is in there. What a great little system. And it didn't really cost me that much. I think they do 3 different sizes. I think this is the smallest of the lot. But you can use this as a frying pan as well, apparently. I'm not sure it's big enough for what I want to do today, so I'm not really going to use it for that. But so I'm just going to boil some water, get my pasta in there as much as I can get in there, drain that out. I might drain that into something so that I can use that water to put the fire out later on. And then when that's cooked down a little bit, I've got some naughty but nice pork belly on offer in the Co-op. So I've got a little grate. I'm going to put over there, put the pork belly on there. That will do nicely. I'll probably have this first actually, and I'll do the pork belly later when that's gone right down. I'm in no hurry. I'm not going to eat all that lot, that's for sure. Some of that will come home with me, and it goes in the freezer. Half full, I reckon. I'm going to put the pasta in. Cooking bag, the blue one. I've got 4 bags. My blue one is my cooking bag. Green is fire lighting. Yellow is hygiene, medicine. Yeah, and I don't have to take all of this stuff, I'll be honest. You know, you carry this stuff and you think, I don't actually need all this. If you want to be lightweight, I'd take bits out of this. And then my red one is, where's my knife there? Red one is my medical, my basic medical. And then I've got 2 other medical kits depending on what I'm taking, whether it's a saw, a big saw, the big boy, I'll take a big one. And if I take an axe, I'll take a lot of other stuff. But it depends on where you are, what you're doing, etc. Right, I might need to put this on the fire, I think. There we go. Right. Try and keep everything tidy. Steel is real. Beautiful. Cast iron. Well, that's the next level, but it's not always possible. Beautiful. Give that a little bit longer. I can't eat all that. I don't know how I'm going to get any pork belly in.
Look at this headline. Look at
Beautiful. Very liquid in there, just to soak it a bit. Keep it warm. Give it a little scrub. Let it burn. And then I wipe it on my sock because the sock burned the wash in the morning.
$199. Grab that one for that one. Just saying, $199 a month, 4 payments to get everything. But why? It's so hard for China to shake the uninvestable.
Right, well, good morning. It is nippy, that's for sure. Went down to 0 last night, but luckily I took my winter sleeping bag and not my my other one I would have taken would have been Defence 1, which is good down to +4. I suppose wearing this I probably would have been okay, but it's just lovely being tucked in under that thing. But the hammock did well. Yeah, no rain or anything like that. Just had the fire going, but I put that, sort of took all the wood off that just before I went to sleep, just because there's so much wood around here that I don't want to fall asleep with it still running. So yeah, I let that burn itself out before I went to sleep, and it was a beautiful night. I slept like a little baby. But this place, Saturday and Sunday, this place will be humming with people. Walking, you know, I would expect I'll have a dog running around here in about an hour's time, if that. So although I was loving just lying there, enjoying listening to what was going on outside, I've got to get going. Ooh. I've probably said it before, these DD Hammock snake skins are the best. They are just brilliant. I've got, is it DD Hammocks? No, these are the Hennessy Hammock snake skins. The DD Hammocks is one big long one, which I really don't like as much as this. This is far better material, just really good. And you can buy them individually from Hennessy. There we go, what a brilliant little system. These are out, there's your hammock. Then you've got the rain flies is built on, ready to go, but in its own little snake skin. It's just the way to go, it's a great system. So these are quite a good idea. I think this is a medium size, I think you can get one that's slightly smaller. But you can see it just clips onto my tree straps there, and then through the contraption, and it just holds it, and it does hold it, but you've got to be very careful, because if this was upside down, then this would have a tendency to fall out. So I always make sure this whole area is at the top, and then I do a couple of slip knots on there just to make sure that this doesn't get pulled up for any reason. But yeah, to undo it, if I can do this with one hand, pull, raise it up, and there we go. So I put all my dirty stuff just in a plastic bag. I always take an old Tesco's plastic bag. All the cooking stuff, everything just gets into there. It makes life so much easier and deal with it at home. That was a great little camp. One of my favourites, that. Got me thinking about my favourite hammock. Which one is it? That's really tough. The most comfortable is the wall bonnet. It's the most luxurious, most space, and the Wookiee goes on it really nicely. Best winter one, yeah. Superior Gear is the most convenient in the winter. Yeah, Superior Gear is the most convenient in the winter. It's so simple to get it out. So last night I was having to fiddle around a couple of times when I went to the toilet, fiddle around, and then the under blanket had come off my shoulder and my shoulder was cold. Now I slept all the way through, really. A couple of times I went to the toilet. So I slept well, but there is that process of fiddling with the under blanket. Although it was quite well fitted in there, because I was moving around, etc., you just lose it There was a point where my feet were cold, and because I got no zip on the other side for that Hennessy hammock, I couldn't get over there to try and pull it around. So I was trying to maneuver it through the hammock with my feet, and then I had it on the shoulder. So they are fiddly, but the wall bonnet has its own. I never really have that problem with the wall bonnet, and the Hennessy is just convenient. If there's any sort of rain, or if I was hiking, I'll take a Hennessy hammock, because the main thing is just to get that thing up and get the rain cover, and then you can deal with everything else like the underquilt. Tricky, which one's the best? I don't think there is one. I'm the only car in the car park, so I'm going to get the drone now and go and find the ultimate hang. So by lock up carbon, is this what they mean? Right, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Bye.